Hello, what is up everybody? This is Ruben and I'm back with another Ruben Report, and for today's video we're going to be talking about my newest addition to the stable, my brand new to me KLR 650. This is a 2005 model KLR 650 Generation 1 that I bought about 2 months ago. I bought it on November 1st. And when I bought it off of Facebook Marketplace from a very nice older gentleman. It had about 11,600 miles on the odometer. Right now we are currently at 14,281 miles. So I've ridden her for the past 2 months, put about 2,600 miles on her. Been having an absolute blast. This thing has been just an absolute tank, just a workhorse for the task of riding every single day, going back and forth from work, going wherever it is that I wanted to go, really. I have, ever since I bought it, the very first week actually when I bought it, I pretty much got it within the first couple days. I added just a couple accessories to it. But before we talk about all the different accessories, I'm going to show you guys a snippet or a couple pictures of what the bike used to look like before, I kitted it out the way that it is now. And here we go. So as you guys can see here are some of the pictures of the bike when I first received it. It came with a couple goodies, just to name a few: the tool tube, the tall windscreen, one of the hand guards actually broke off, rear racks, a top box, a beefed up skid plate, some other protection for the rear master cylinder, heated grips, and the list goes on. We'll talk a little bit more about those items later on in the video. So as you guys saw, the bike came with quite a few goodies on it already. It came with the rear racks, so that it was really easy for me to put my luggage on there. It came with, the highway pegs. It did have the beefed up skid plate. The previous owner, he used the bike as it was intended to be used. He used it as a off-road dual sport type machine. Like I was stated before, the previous owner, he was a very nice older gentleman. This bike was pretty much, not entirely, but pretty much a single owner bike, and I'll explain that in just a moment. The original owner of this bike bought it brand new back in 2005, obviously, and they put about a little less than 1,000 miles on it, I believe. And I guess he and his wife wanted to ride two up to take it for a little spin. As the wife was trying to get on the back, she fell off. She was like, "Nope, I don't like this thing, get rid of it." So that's when the owner that I bought the bike from bought it in 2005 with a little less than 1,000 miles on it. So the owner that I bought it from, he practically had this bike since it was brand new, and ever since then he has owned the bike for the past 17 years. And he has taken this bike all over the place. He's gone to Death Valley. He's also been to Utah, Moab, back and forth, all over. Obviously, with the amount of miles that's on the bike, it really hasn't been ridden much, but it definitely has been ridden. And again, it has been ridden in its intended purpose as a dual sport bike. So it's been dropped many times and it's seen its fair share of use and abuse. So I took it off his hands and I am repurposing this monster as an everyday commuter bike, which I don't believe there should have any issue doing that at all. He took really good care of the bike, and did certain upgrades to it, like I showed you in the pictures. But since I had it in my possession, again, I went ahead and put the luggage on there. Obviously, I put the handguards on there as well. These have LEDs in the here, so I relocated the turn signals. The turn signals were originally supposed to be here. I deleted them and put the auxiliary lights here. So the turn signals are in the handguards. I also put a center stand on it, obviously. It already came with a 16 tooth front sprocket. I also deleted the choke cable here, and I put a choke cable eliminator kit. So this is just, to me, it was just a lot easier to just pull this once, cut the bike on and run it, and it returns on itself because the bike vibrates. And I also put a thermal bob on there. That's one of the two main upgrades that you want to do to any KLR. And obviously, very recently, I've also done the doohickey modification as well with the Eagle Mike doohickey with the torsion spring. The previous owner, he did the doohickey way back when, I believe in 2005. But way back when, I really don't believe the torsion spring was even available. So the doohickey was intact when I opened it. The spring also was intact and doing its job, but now I just have the assurance that it's absolutely bulletproof with that torsion spring in there. You know, all these upgrades and all these things that I'm talking about can be seen and shown on the KLR 650 Kawasaki KLR 650 owners group on Facebook. I've been posting in there, you know, the little upgrades and maintenance that I've been doing on the bike since I bought it, and you can see for yourself what it looked like in there with the doohickey, and it's also pretty cool. Another thing that I did, the previous owner, he did a couple modifications, or really just one modification to the carb. He said he did some type of performance upgrade. I dug in there, later found out it really wasn't a performance upgrade. He just enriched the mixture screw. So I bought a carb rebuild kit, just basically replaced all the jets because I didn't know what was in there. Made it all stock again and put the mixture screw back to its stock setting. Because again, I use this bike to commute. I'm not going in really high elevation. And what else? What else have I done? Obviously the USB charging port, my phone holder, windshield extension. Put a Walmart watch on here so I can see what the time is, because I don't have any fancy digital gauges. It already came with heated grips, however they didn't work when I got the bike. And the reason why the heated grips didn't work is because the heated grips, you know, this is an older bike, way back in the 80s, because this is made with 80s technology. The stators just didn't have the wattage output of more modern motorcycles today. I believe the wattage output of this thing is only like 196 watts or something like that, I believe. And so with the stock headlight that used to draw about like 55 watts, it was just too much for the system to run and have the lights on and have the heated grips on all the time. So what I did is I replaced everything with LEDs. As you can see, the LEDs in the handguards. I did the auxiliary lights here. I put the LED headlight in the front, and that cut down the wattage significantly. Also LED in the back. And that cut down the wattage everywhere significantly. It freed up a lot of space, and now the heated grips work flawlessly, along with everything else. And one other upgrade I also did, just for security and safety, I added a security alarm. So that way, whenever I park it wherever, if somebody tries to mess with it, gives them a warning. That's pretty much it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. All the upgrades that I've done thus far with the bike. I still would like to do certain upgrades in the future, but as it is right now, the bike rides just fine for my use case. But it would be nice to upgrade the suspension somewhere down the line, possibly even obviously also upgrade the front brake, because that thing is atrocious. And I think that's it. Suspension, front brake, and then I'll be good to go. But as is, it rides all right. And it's adequate enough for, again, my day-to-day tasks. Again, this bike has been absolutely flawless. It's been an absolute beast and blast to ride. Talk a little bit about what I've been riding, how I've been riding the bike so far. Again, when I first bought this bike, I put, in the very first week that I owned it, I already put like 1,000 miles on it. Right when I bought it, I took it apart, brought it in, went ahead and did the hand guards and did the windshield extension, put the phone on there, the USB thing, and checked the fluids. I didn't change the oil. I checked to make sure that there was a 16-tooth front sprocket on there. I was going to install one if it didn't, but it did. And put the boxes on there, and I went ahead and took a trip from my place of residence all the way down to LA. I went ahead and did that because I had to attend, the second part of my father's funeral. We did the funeral ceremony, and then I did the inurnment ceremony where we actually put his ashes in the wall. I didn't want to take any of these two vehicles, so I went ahead and took, actually no, it wasn't the inurnment ceremony. I was actually went down there to help my family move him out of his apartment that he still had a bunch of stuff going on there. So I just had to visit to attend to some more urgent familiar affairs. And so with the very first week that I had it, I put 1,000 miles on it, rode back and forth from LA, riding all around. So basically all I did was just put the accessories on there to make it, long haul trip friendly, and I rode the hell out of it. Basically rode it 75 to 80 miles an hour on the highway. It kept up. I was passing traffic, sometimes even at 85 miles an hour. It didn't burn any oil. I didn't even change the oil. I didn't even know how many miles were on the oil, but once I actually got back, changed the oil, did everything that I needed to do. So it proved itself being highway worthy. And after that, I've just been doing the usual, riding to and from work, going to the grocery store, going pretty much everywhere. This bike, I'm not restricted to riding in a particular fashion, so I pretty much just ride it whatever is most convenient. So if it's more convenient for me to go on the highway, I take the highway. If it's more convenient for me to take the back roads, I take the back roads. And it's just nice to have a bike that's just more capable, so that way I'm not like limited in what it is that I can do. And yeah, over the course of the last 2 months, just going back and forth with it raining, or I also got sick for about 2 weeks. So I mean, I could have a lot more miles on it than it already has, but still 2,600 miles in 2 months, it is what it is. So yeah, pretty much the bike, again, anytime that I asked of it to ride, it's been ready and willing. Basically, it's really been up to me whether or not it gets any miles on it or not. And it's been an absolute blast, breath of fresh air. So great to finally be able to use a machine of this caliber for the purpose that I intended since the beginning. I always wanted to, use a motorcycle to save money on gas, and this bike fits the bill perfectly. There's just a couple aspects that, I wish I had a little bit more performance. This bike, with the way I've been riding it, very mixed riding. So this is highway, back roads, everything, because again, I'm not restricted. With very mixed riding, I get about 45 mpg. If I do strictly city and back roads, I get over 50 mpg, but that's just not how I ride it. And so I typically average about 45. If I do strictly highway, more like 40. So yeah, the mileage is anywhere between 40 to over 50 miles a gallon. It just depends how I ride, and I'm all right with that, because being able to ride, and instead of not being able to ride, with the other bike that I've had, is a whole lot better. And the other bike that I've been speaking about is I'll show you guys here in just a minute. This is a 2021 model CSC RX3. It is a Chinese bike made by a company called Zongshen, but sold here in America by a company named CSC. And this bike is a 250cc motorcycle. So as far as riding on the highway, I mean, it would do it, but it just really doesn't belong there. Mainly when I was commuting and riding around on this bike, I was anywhere between 50-55 miles an hour max. And then obviously a lot slower, riding inner city stuff. So nothing too crazy. And the reason why I bought the newer bike was mainly because this bike started to give me a whole lot of issues, which if you've been watching my channel, you can see one of my other most recent videos, like the valve recession issues, and you can also see the most recent video I just uploaded of revealing my new bike and going a little bit more into detail about why I've been parking this bike and bought a new one. But before I go, I want to also mention just a couple more upgrades that I almost forgot. Obviously this tool tube, okay, that was on the bike when I bought it. Got extra tubes, tire irons, miscellaneous stuff in there. I also have my Bluetooth air pressure and tire temperature monitors on both of the tires. There's something else that I'm forgetting. I don't want to forget anything. This here, as I said, this was a off-road machine, so he got this rear master cylinder guard on there. I replaced the air filter. I don't know if the air filter that was in there was absolutely stock, but it looked really old and crummy and had a rip in it, so I replaced it, obviously. Anything else that I am missing? I think that is all. Okay, so before I go, obviously we have to fire her up. Okay, so you guys can hear her. All right, and like I said, I relocated the choke, so you just gotta pull this guy, and then we fire her up. Okay, and there's that. And she runs just great. I can show you guys the hand guards. So there's that turn signal. And then there's that turn signal. And then we have the auxiliary lights, which are super bright. Alright, we are back in my garage, and I want to thank you guys for watching this video, getting to know a little bit more about my new bike. And as I stated before, if you want to see what I've been up to with this bike for the past 2 months, you can join the KLR, the Kawasaki KLR 650 owners group on Facebook. And in this group, I've been posting videos ever since I purchased the vehicle, the KLR, and showing you guys, my ownership experience, all the upgrades and things that I've been doing to it. All right. So until next time, guys, stay safe out there, and peace.